Welcome to the Tiling Connect podcast. This podcast is designed to raise the standards of the tiling industry by sourcing and sharing the best and latest in standards, technology, and innovation with its listeners. Before we get started, everything we talk about in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider your own personal situation. You should always seek professional advice for any specific matters.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Tiling Connect. I'm your host, Mark Moskwa. On this show, I will speak with our first professional tiling contractor, Andrew Lewis, from Ezy Tiling, based in Melbourne. He will chat with us about managing expectations on the job and some top marketing tips he uses to promote his business. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, Andrew.
How's it going?
Very good, champion. How are you?
That's good. Yeah, good. Yeah, just another good day today. So just smashing it out as always.
Smashing it out. I love to hear that. I've been putting equipment together today.
Equipment together? What do you mean?
Oh, we have my day job, right? So I've got we have a new customer up in Queensland here, and I had to build some of the IQ machines and some screed mixers and things, and get them on display for them. So it's been an interesting morning.
So, Alan, what's your business then?
My day job, I work for Top Notch Tools.
Oh my God, I love that page.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's a good page. Hang on, I'm just going to swap.
No, it's all good, brother.
I'm good. I'll leave those headphones.
You sound good to me. Do I sound good back?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, I'm not used to headphones, so these are like those noise cancelling ones. So I thought, we'll use these. If my audio's good, then that's great.
Yeah, sounds terrific, mate. Actually sounds like you're in a studio and you're ready to rock and roll.
Oh, wow. No, I'm just in my computer room, my office at home, and I've got everything set up. I thought we were actually going to have a video chat. That's what I thought.
Oh, mate, look, I need to, I certainly need to explain that a bit better in the briefs that I send out to people, because I'm trying to work very hard on building, the right content for the audience and some experience with recording first before I deep dive into video. And then I've sort of shot myself in the foot, because I've just booked in a podcast catch up with Luke Miller from Tile Money, and we're doing that. We're doing that at the end of November. So he's like, "Oh, mate, I'm ready." He sent me a message the other day. He goes, "I'm ready to interview you when you're ready." And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. You're going to the bigger guys that do it all the time. Sounds exciting. Have you done Sean from Tiles Warehouse yet?
He is booked in for a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks, he will be jumping on board. I'm very keen. You're our first tiling contractor. That's still on the tools. We had Shandy Milans from Adelaide on last week, who works for Gripset and RLA. And he was a really good guy, and Sean will be our very first retailer to have on board, and probably, to be honest, I think probably the most ideal person to have on board, particularly with his family history and his old man, and they're so ingrained in the industry, and I think Sean's got a lot to offer.
Oh, exactly. And like me and him bounce things off all the time. So as you would see in a lot of my stories and stuff, if I buy a product from him, I'll re-tag him because I know he'll reshare my content.
Yes.
So if I've got a Grabo tool, I'll tag him in it because I did get it from him, and then he's going to reshare it. And then if I tag you in it, it all gets reshared again.
Yeah, 100%.
So it depends on the product and the tool. It all gets shared around, and that's what I want.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what we need to do for each other in this big, wide world community, tiling community that we have.
Correct. Yeah, no, that's very exciting. And, just with how we've gone with this, which I'm sure we'll talk about, with how, I've been on it for only 2 years and it's grown into what it is now. Yeah. It's quite a whole roller coaster, and it's still growing.
Exactly.
It's a crazy, crazy thing.
Yeah, I agree. So, mate, look, let's dial it back then. The floor is yours, really. The best place for us to start today is just to find out a little bit about you and your business, and give the audience a bit of a rundown on Too Ezy Tiling.
Too easy. Well, I'm Andrew Lewis. I've been in the industry since I did my apprenticeship when I was 18, straight after year 12. Did my apprenticeship 4 years, so that made it till I was 22. Now I'm 36, so I've gone out my own when I was 22 because issues with the apprenticeship. So I got signed off and started my business straight from the get-go. And ended up to where I am today. So I've been at it for that makes it 14 years out on my own. And I've done all sorts of tiling from volume builders to renovations, you name it. I've dealt with those situations. So pool tiling, bit of everything. And now I'm sort of settled with how I am at the moment, just working by myself. I've had subcontractors before, on and off, between what they want to do and where they want to head across to with their businesses. But of course, I've just dealt with all sorts of tiling, used all sorts of materials until I find something I absolutely love.
Wow. So, no, you don't have any manpower, don't have any apprentices or anything with you at the moment?
No apprentices at the moment. I'd be loving to basically look into that because I tell you what, especially since Instagram has evolved and everything like that, I reckon the skill set at the moment of what I've got, I would love to share that on to an apprentice, especially because it's almost like a dying trade.
Yeah, it is.
It's very much, especially the old school tilers, like the years that I've done it. I'm sure other tilers will agree. New tilers don't get the skill sets of the old tilers. Like a lot of them now are just solely dedicated to putting tiles on walls, tiles on floors. But the old school tilers knew how to screed. They knew how to render a wall. Just a lot of more prep work things, whereas some new tilers now aren't learning that. They're just learning solely tiles, grout, that's it. They're not even learning how silicon. Silicon's almost becoming its own trade.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to share my skills on someone else because he'll learn not just tiling, but the broader scope of tiling and never know where he could go.
Yeah, it's a really important point you've raised there about passing on knowledge from generation to generation. I mentioned this last week in our episode. I was talking to, I think, Troy about this with regards to the technical information and the scientific information within the industry. And we've got a lot of people that are they're either semi-retired or looking at retirement. And we've got a big gap, right? We've got a big gap between, the experienced people, and then there's a big gap between the next generation coming through, and then the generation beyond that, the numbers are so low. And I think it's not only tiling, of course, but there's other trades out there that are suffering from a skills or volunteer shortage where people just don't want to take up the trade.
Well, I think there's I think it's a mindset of kids of this, like, coming out of school now. They just want to go to the main three trades. They think they're the kings of the trades. You got chippies, sparky, plumber. They think they're the main trades. That's where they want to go because that's their mindset. Wall and floor tiling, I chose wall and floor tiling because I did not know anyone that was a floor tiler. I thought, you know what, that's a different trade. I can fill that gap with my group of friends. I want to do wall and floor tiling. And luckily, a apprenticeship popped up and I took the opportunity to do it. And, the rest is history. I'm here now doing wall and floor tiling and absolutely loving it. But I think what it is the mindset of the kids of today that we need to maybe try and work out some kind of re-education to say, hey, what about wall and floor tiling? You almost become an artist.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think? Sorry to cut you off, buddy, but do you think?
Yeah, that's all right.
I'd love your opinion on this. Do you think that wall and floor tiling has been beaten up a little bit over the years, and that's why it's not as attractive to some people?
It's like builders. We're an underappreciated trade, I think, because we are like we control where the water flow goes into a bathroom. Like the plumber sets up the rows, the plumber sets up the drain, but we're in control of making sure that water goes out that point down that drain and sealed in completely. Same with waterproofers and stuff like that. We have to control that, and it's almost like an art. You got to know, this goes with this, the sand and cement, this and that, with the tiles, how it splits, how the fall's correct. Without those procedures in place, it's not going to happen. So I think we're quite underappreciated for the skill sets that we've got.
Absolutely. Look, I've got some of my closest friends and best mates are either plumbers or tilers, and tiling is such a critical trade in terms of it's a finishing trade, right? So it's just about the last thing you'll see when a house is completed is the tiling work that's done within that. And it's sort of the showpiece. When you think about where tiling occurs in a house, you've got en-suites and bathrooms and WCs and main floor areas and alfresco areas. It really it deserves a lot more credit than what it gets in many cases.
Oh, it certainly does. Like you think about it, like for a bathroom, like when the main critical part of it is the tiling of it. It's not just how good it looks. It's got to work.
Yeah.
So the tiler is a magician of that area. That's their goal. Like they've got to talk to the chippies and that like floor heights and drops of shower bases. Like I've got a couple of chippies on my books I can call upon for jobs. Same with plumbers. And they know exactly how I like it set up, so the job gets done quickly and efficiently. So, but the owners aren't to know, the builders aren't to know. They just tile that bathroom. Well, no, there's a bit more involved in that. A bathroom could take, with 2 weeks with the right procedures in place, but it could blow out if someone doesn't do their job correctly. So, it's almost like you got to work with the tiler with all the other trades if it does to make it work.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's a very underappreciated, maybe not well-known trade, and that's where we're getting that generation gap. Is they want to be the chippy, they want to be the plumber, they want to be the electrician, and wall floor tiling doesn't sound appealing.
Yeah,
but it is an appealing trade. Like I have. Especially during COVID, I've never been so busy.
Yeah, I can imagine your pipeline at the moment is still pretty big in front of you.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm already booking next year, especially with like material shortages. We're not doing any sort of renovations type styles for the rest of this year.
Yeah.
We're saving them for next year because we know that everyone thinks Christmas is the end of the world. So everyone wants their bathrooms done before Christmas and all that sort of stuff, but we just can't handle it. And I have to disappoint people and say, look, I know Christmas is, what you want, but unfortunately we've got to book you next year. And because of the skill set that I've got and maybe, especially with Instagram, they can see what they can get out of me. They're happy to wait till next year because they know, Andrew will do this, this and this for me. I'm happy to wait for him because I know I'm going to get this type of bathroom. And they're happy to wait. Yeah. But some people are just in the rush of this year. And if they haven't booked it now, it'll be buyer beware to find a tiler in time.
Oh, 100%, mate. I've already received half a dozen phone calls from people chasing tilers, and I've said,
exactly.
You can probably book them in for around this time next year. And they're like, no, I need it done this year. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Well, it's possible to happen, but with good tilers and being that word of mouth, especially if you work with the retailers and you work with like even the manufacturers of the glue, and they know who you are and they pass your name on.
Yes.
That's a big word of mouth there. So if you're happy to wait, and these guys have recommended you, owners should be happy to wait. But if they got someone out of the what would we say, yellow pages or something, it's buyer beware. Like hopefully they just follow and look up reviews and stuff like that, or see what they've done, and maybe even go back and see what other jobs they've completed in order to know what they're going to get out of it.
100%. And you're right, mate. I wholeheartedly agree with you there. You really have to do your due diligence when it comes to selecting the right tiler for the job. And, whether that be do reference checks, job checks, photos, whatever it takes to make sure that you're choosing the right tradesperson for your job, because sometimes the tiling work can be pretty complicated. Maybe that person hasn't had experience at laying a particular size tile or a complicated type of tile product.
Exactly. Or doesn't know how the application of certain stones or something. You just don't know what. There's so many variables with tiling, and each tiler does their own different methods as well.
Yeah.
So one tiler might do a lot of tile trims, and another tiler does mitered tile. So everyone's got their own little niche and maybe products they use as well, like their familiarity with the brands. You could use. One tiler could be using Gripset RLA type products, and the other tiler will use Laddercrete, and that could change with value for money sort of thing. But you got to know what you're going to get out of that tradesman.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, mate, look, we fielded quite a few inquiries when we first kicked off Tiling Connect podcast, and I have a little bit of a Q&A for you today and some questions.
Exciting.
These are some questions that have come in from some tile contractors around the country, and they're looking for some different perspectives and points of view on them. So I thought let's kick off with question one. That came in was what strategies do you use to manage your builder relationships effectively?
Oh, look, it's always good communication. Always call up, find out what the next job's going to be. Just be proactive with the builder and stuff like that. It's like it's almost you building a relationship with the builder or contractor or whoever you're dealing with, if it's the owner or the builder. But it's sort of just keeping everyone in the loop of what your progress is going to be, and be open about everything. If they ask a question, just be open with it and just tell them what the procedure is going to be. What other strategies? I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, look, communication's key in every aspect of life, right? And keeping people on board for the journey, whether it's a builder or whether it's other trades, is so important, because it allows you to then have a seamless approach at getting your tiling work done and getting out of there on time and ensuring that the customer's happy with the finished product, right?
Exactly, absolutely, exactly. So communication is absolutely key, and that builds up the relationship with your builder and owner to just keep busy. One job will lead to the next job, and if you've got that good communication, you'll always get return from that. Yeah,
awesome. On the back end of that question, and I appreciate communication. I think it's critical. Have you, in your experience, in your time dealing with builders, have you had instances where you've had some challenges with a particular builder? And, we don't need to mention names. This is more from an experience perspective. But have you had some challenges? And if you have, how do you overcome some of the roadblocks or obstacles that you sort of have with builders, and when their expectation is different from what your expectation is? How do you get to the middle?
Wow, that's a big tough one. So I remember doing a set of. That's all right. That's a big call. So I remember doing a set of townhouses, and I think it was about 4 other subbies, and we started. We're getting progress on the tiling job, and then next minute he's pushing the timeline. Oh, you promised this timeline and this timeline. I said, I didn't promise you this timeline. I told you it was going to take X amount of days, and we'll get it done by that date. And then towards the end there, he wasn't paying his bills and that sort of thing. And then I said, all right, well, until X amount has been paid, I can't bring the guys here for these days. it's always a to and fro, and basically you got to stand your ground. If you don't stand your ground, they'll just walk all over you.
Yeah.
So it's sort of it is a hard. That was a very hard question. It's sort of it's very. What would it be? That's got me that question. That's a good one.
Look, I think what you've mentioned so far is perfect. It's about if I'm reading this correctly, it's about holding a firm position based upon the fact that you know what quality you're delivering on a job, and you know what you're worth. Like, so you're not prepared to cut corners. You're not prepared to, maybe I'll not do this, or maybe we won't do that, and we'll get it done a bit quicker. And maybe the builder will be happy. However, are you going to be happy with the work that you've put out?
Correct. And especially, it's all situational with each job, of course. But when this one was a volume builder, we can most likely speed it up. But guess what? You're going to have some terrible tile cuts. You're going to have some crooked grout lines and some terrible grouting, in fact. So if you want to speed up the process, that's on him. But then don't fall back on me when it all goes wrong. So that's why I always keep my timelines. And, if it goes out an extra day, it's better to have quality over a shit job.
Yeah, great. Very cool, man. So the next question is a little bit similar to question number 1. Question 2 that came through from a few of our community members out there. How do you manage customer expectations? We've talked about builders, but direct customers, because and I think this is a really important question, because today we have so many different programs out there on TV. There's all these expectations around what it should look like, and of course that then feeds through into the customers that you guys deal with on a daily basis sometimes, and their expectations are like, it's got to be built like Rome. Okay. So
exactly. So
how do you manage those expectations?
Okay, so basically, luckily, in the area that I'm in, there's not too many tile shops. So there's like Beaumonts and all that sort of stuff. So luckily, I'll tell them, shop at these places or whatever, and they will purchase the tiles and hopefully see with the shop owners that the tiles they've chosen. But it's sort of I just show them photos from my Instagram. So Instagram is like a portfolio. That's the main thing that I started the Instagram for, was to be a portfolio of what I can give customers. So when customers go, I want a strip drain, bang, next minute I've gone into my phone and I've got a whole pile of photos with strip drains in it. Show them all different kinds and all that sort of stuff. And then progress with the job, as you say, with the expectations. The worst thing with the block is that I can see so far is no full bathroom job can be completed in a week. No way. You do not have trades sitting there waiting to go for their opportunity to do their job. So I always tell them up front when I do the quotes and stuff, look, this is the timeline. It's, within 2 to 3 weeks. And just plainly, back to the communication again, you just tell the owners, this is what I can give you, and hopefully they're happy with what you've provided the information with.
Yeah, look, I agree. A friend of mine who's no longer with us on this planet, he was a chippy and a builder in his career, and he worked on some of those programs earlier on in the piece, and he said it was a little bit like, he said it was very much like the Wild Wild West when you're working on those programs, and they're expecting and they're expecting decks to be built in half a day, and he goes, it is literally edited and cut together to make it look like a bathroom can be done in 4 hours. It's like,
exactly, and I think even now, like, as I'm getting older and stuff, I actually feel like I'm slowing down, but the quality's getting better. It's a tough thing. Like, I'm 36. I feel like, maybe the walls are taking an extra day than what I used to. But as well, it comes back to the products we're using. We're using larger format tiles. We're using bigger tiles, more fancier tiles, tiles with irregularities. And so it is taking more time with ourselves to get the job done. So sometimes those timelines that you can give a customer for their expectation of their job can lead out 1 or 2 more days, because guess what? Those tiles are 1200 by 600s, and they just take an extra day longer because of the manpower to install those tiles.
Yeah. Mate, that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing. Look, question 3. This is the one that that drew me to you as well as all the other great information you've shared so far today. How do you market yourself as an installation expert? Tell us about your social media, and tell us about how you market your business.
Basically, no, well, there's a couple of different ways that I market myself. So I will talk to the shops themselves. So where I buy my material, I always talk with them and buy my materials through them. And with that relationship, they will put me on their tilers list and say, oh, look, he'll be busy, but try this guy first, because they know I will always deliver a good job. So they know, right, Andrew, too Ezy Tiling, start with him first. He'll be busy, might be a couple of months before you can get him out there, but he will do a good job for you. So that's most probably one of the marketing areas I do, is with the tile shops. That's the old school word of mouth.
Yeah.
Now with Instagram, with the photos, when you tag, for example, a location of an area or something like that, when people are scrolling through tiling, where they live, it could be Summers, could be on the Mornington Peninsula. Next minute, my photos might pop up there. Next minute, they're on the phone with me and saying, "Oh, I'd like you to come out and quote," and we've got a tiling job that needs to be done. And sometimes I'll ask them, "Look, make sure you get a couple of quotes, because I don't want to rip anyone off or do anything wrong by that." So I'm like, do my quote and say, "Look, go get another couple of quotes," and they're going, "No, because we've seen your photos and we want that.
Yeah.
We want you. We've seen all your photos. We've seen it all through your Instagram." And it's almost like word of mouth online now. It's the social media side of it.
Do you think that's where do you think that's where everyone's going now? Like, a lot of the tiling.
Well, you've got places like Tile Cloud and a few other businesses like Ultimate Tiles and that, and they are showing off their tiles, but as well as showing off the tiles, they're also getting photos from tilers that have used those tiles, and they are showcasing what those tiles can do. So I think people are sort of leading towards that over even just a Google search.
Yeah,
they're looking for the inspiration from on the social media versus inspiration through a Google search. So I'm sure Instagram, maybe even Facebook. Don't think any other ones like TikTok. That's too many dance moves. But definitely the Instagram would be one that, someone might type in, "I like brass tapware against a herringbone tile." And it could be through the Instagram, and then it's showcasing through the tile shops that's showcasing through my work.
Yeah, look, I love Instagram, and look, I've been in the industry for 20 years, but I love Instagram for the industry. I think it does a tremendous job of propelling the tiling institute of workmanship out there. It's
it certainly has. Yeah,
it really shows that just how much of an art form it can be, and is like, there's so many great guys and girls out there. And that's what I love, the fact that there's so many younger female tiling contractors starting to jump on board now, and they're seeing, because they've got a different creative mind to us blokes, and they're doing some great things as well. It's just that platform has done the industry a world of good the last few years.
Oh, easily. It's just not that as well. It's actually bringing those people that, like myself, I was a, work for myself type thing, and I never used to talk to other tilers because I never used to see other tilers. But what it has done is actually created a community of tilers that can talk to each other, have a chat, learn new skills, learn off each other, see someone else has done something. Oh, how did you do that? As well as connect to the tile shops and, the tool manufacturers and stuff. And it's almost like a community of learning. It's like it's been quite an amazing roller coaster since I've been on it to just expand my skills.
Yeah, terrific, man. That's great. One final question from our Q&A. And you've sort of somewhat answered it, but I'm going to put it out there. How do you secure your pipeline of work or win quotes? What's the Andrew factor?
Oh, I think it's just I think I have sort of answered it. It's just back to the communication, but I guess I come across as I am a nice bloke. Just a nice bloke, absolutely. Out to do the job, make everything on my quotes, to the letter. Say, for example, I really work out, this is X amount for doing the screed, this is X amount to cut the shower base, X amount to do a niche. Just making sure the owner is informed of the whole setup. This is where your money's going, is going to all these categories, and it's going to take about 2 to 3 weeks to get the job done. I think, and as well, it comes back to as well the recommendations as well. Like, it's not just me presenting myself to the quote as well. It's those owners have got a recommendation from maybe a past customer of mine or a tile shop or even through the Instagram. So that also improves my odds to win those quotes, because it just, especially with the Instagram side of it, it has opened up a lot more avenues, and it showcases my work.
Yeah,
so it does help me win those jobs.
That's very cool, man. You've got it streamlined beautifully, and yeah, I like that. I really, really like that.
Awesome.
Well, mate, hey, look, we're sort of at nearly at the conclusion of today's catch up. I want to finish off, as we do in all our episodes, with some final, what I call final fast track questions. Just just some things, that, just some different things. We get to know Andrew a little bit better, and so I want to start with what does your morning routine look like? How do you get your day kicked off?
Mate, my day kicks off with a coffee and a Weet-Bix, and that's basically it. That's what gets me going. That gets me out of bed and jump in the van and off I go. Oh,
I love it. Do you use brown sugar or white sugar on your Weet-Bix?
No sugar.
No sugar.
All natural. Sugar.
You are super controlled. Oh wow!
You got to be disciplined. That's what it is. It's all about discipline. So, I could not do that sugar again. So discipline, and that gets me out of the morning. It's like routine. Everyone's got a routine on how they start their days.
Yeah, I love it. That's great, especially because maybe you be. Look, it's been a while since I've mixed some adhesive, but I'm pretty sure that you would you burn some calories during the day, right? Weet-Bix sounds like the perfect start to any day.
Mate, Weet-Bix is a good start. A coffee in the morning that gets the engine roaring, and definitely I do pack a nice lunch for the day. Definitely, yeah. It's always like a chicken roll toasty or something I'll take with me, and that's my day settled. So I just camp out on the job for the day.
Fantastic, mate. Another fast track question for you. What is the most important lesson that you've learned in your career?
Honesty. That's most probably the best one I've ever done is honesty. Because I'll tell you what, if I wasn't honest and word got back to my old man, he would have kicked my ass. So I always tell the truth to the clients, to anyone like that. And yeah, that's my one thing that I always do.
Yeah, wow. Very cool. Mate, if you could live it, this, and we'll wrap this up with a final question. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, I don't know. That's a toughie. I do like Thailand and Bali. They're nice. Anywhere tropical, I guess.
Yeah. So you're a fan of the heat and the humidity.
The heat, humidity. Well, Thailand, it's got all the temples, all that sort of stuff. It's just a whole different kettle of fish compared to what we've got in Australia.
Absolutely. There's so much history around the world. When you get on a plane and you go somewhere, you're just like, wow, we really are a young country.
We are, and it just opens up like it's a big world. It is a huge world.
Yeah.
And then as well, you got places like the States that will be very similar to Australia, I'm sure. So it'd be interesting even going over there to the States.
Absolutely. Andrew from Ezy Tiling, mate, you've been an absolute champion today, and I really appreciate you jumping on and spending some time with us and being a part of our show and in the Q&A.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to jump on. I do enjoy this, and some of the questions were some doozies, but hopefully I've managed to fulfill them for you.
Mate, you've done an amazing job. All the best, and until next time, mate, stay connected, hey?
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too, champion. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Tiling Connect podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Ezy Tiling or connect with Andrew Lewis directly, please go to the show notes for more information. If you enjoyed the show, please help me positively change our industry by sharing this episode with your network. In the next episode, we'll talk with Sean Summers from Ultimate Tiles in Melbourne, sharing how his family has built a thriving tile business over the past 30 plus years. Until next time, stay connected.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Tiling Connect podcast. If you'd like to hear more, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions or would like to be involved in the show, email us at tilingconnect@gmail.com. See you next episode. Until then, stay connected.